Now, according to Stats SA's most recent quarterly labor force survey, South Africa's unemployment rate has risen once more, reaching 33.2% in Q2, that is the second quarter. This is higher than the 32.9% recorded in the first quarter of 2025, which was higher than the previous quarter's 31.9%. According to the country's second quarter survey, between April and June 2025, 159,000 more people joined the workforce. But during that same time, 140,000 people were unemployed and only 19,000 were employed. Let's talk about this with the head of research at the Harambee Youth Employment Accelerator, and that's Victoria Duncan. A very good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. Clearly, I mean, in spite of all the efforts that organizations like yours have been involved in, hooking up, employment seekers with companies, it's just getting worse instead of getting better.
Our unemployment problem in South Africa is systemic. Our youth unemployment problem is systemic, and it's not going to change overnight. So I don't think the results are a reflection of the good work that has been done. I think it's more an indicator of the work that still needs to be done collectively to address this, to break down barriers. But overall, I think what was interesting with the current unemployment figures that were released by Stats SA is that this small uptick in unemployment was not necessarily due to a reduction in employment. It was due to a movement of individuals who previously were discouraged work seekers who now seem to have taken to active work seeking. So in any sense, that could be an indication of hope amongst the terrible figures. But I think overall, we're seeing similar trends in youth unemployment figures where there's been maybe a marginal improvement, but overall we are very much stuck at this level of, I think for youth aged 18 to 34, at about 55% youth unemployment rate. So it's a long-standing issue and a systemic issue within South Africa.
Unpack that for us. What exactly do we mean when we say it is systemic, and what will it take to reverse the tide?
I mean, it's due to a number of factors. I think our history is one factor. Individuals are maybe not equipped for the labor market when they try enter it at whatever age. There are challenges around not being enough jobs in the labor market. And I think to really address it, it's not going to be a single intervention, and it's not going to be a single stakeholder. I think it's about a collective working together towards a national strategy for youth employment. And this requires the role of business through the inclusive hiring of young people. It requires a role of government in terms of breaking down barriers to enable businesses to be set up to grow the informal sector and to optimize public employment programs. And it requires kind of civil society rallying around and supporting that, as well as external investment into the country to really grow sectors that we foresee to be able to create new opportunities for the entire workforce, and particularly for youth who seem to be bearing the brunt of this challenge.
But what then is not happening? Because the same things you're saying today were said about 3 months ago, and 3 months before, and 3 months before then, and so on and so forth. In other words, what I'm trying to understand is what is not happening, because everyone has been talking about economic growth. Everyone has been talking about coordinated action. Everyone has been talking about skills. Everyone has been talking about breaking the barriers, political will to break the barriers you were talking about. Everyone has been talking about AI, skills mismatch. Is it because we just saying these things, or no one is listening, or no one is prepared to take them to their, logical conclusion? What is at the heart of, because we all agree on what needs to be done or what is not happening, whose job or responsibility should it be then to actually do what needs to be done?
I think first and foremost, it's a collective responsibility. As I said, I think we're all responsible for this in some way or form, whether we're private sector, whether we're government, whether we're social stakeholders. So I think first and foremost, systems change, and fundamentally changing the labor market to make it more inclusive for active work seekers and for job growth. It takes time, and we don't want that because we want solutions overnight. So it will take time for the numbers to shift. I also think the fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic has sat with us for years, and a lot of maybe the interventions that are being mentioned that are good have stemmed the flow of kind of the hemorrhaging of jobs within our labor market, and not necessarily reverse the tide. So it does raise the question of how can we reverse the tide? I think it does require some convening to bring together, which I believe is happening between business and government towards a single vision for youth unemployment and for employment in general, because I think you need to be able to solve the youth unemployment to be able to address the broader unemployment problem in South Africa. And collectively with a vision, and at Harambee, we have quite openly stated that we do have a vision for 2030 around what this could look like and how it can be done. And I think to date, people have wanted to address the youth unemployment problem and the broader unemployment problem, but they haven't known necessarily how and what their role is within it. And hopefully with this collective strategy and vision, there is a little bit more clarity around it to help mobilize the different stakeholders involved.
Oh, well, I mean, a few years ago, promised a social compact. We're told that everyone was going to come together and look at what needs to be sacrificed for us to get to where we're supposed to go to in addressing the issues of the economy, issues of unemployment, but nothing has actually come of that. But what have organizations like yours actually lent that which has helped you help the people who have been looking for jobs and actually got them? That which perhaps we're not doing more of. In other words, what have been your sort of unique experiences as an organization as you seek to address this a problem in your own small way, in your little corner, that which you believe can still be replicated if there was enough will and enough people and organizations out there prepared, willing and able to do what you have been able to do?
So our learnings have been across the economy and across the labor market. And so I think I'll speak to maybe the five key levers that we foresee that could really help unlock or resolve this youth or address this youth unemployment problem within South Africa. And I've alluded to it a little bit earlier when we spoke, but I think the first is that there is a need to be intentional about hiring those most excluded in our labor market. And this is not just about kind of incorporating it into your hiring processes. It's really about thinking about how jobs are structured. It's thinking about where new jobs or where businesses are set up to enable to attract and to make it accessible to young people. And it's kind of providing that hand-holding. It might include work readiness training for employers, but it can be done. And we have seen it in a number of sectors already where there has been this influx of young people, particularly into sectors. The one is global business services, which has experienced considerable growth over the past couple of years because they have convened around a master plan and they have worked in partnership, the Business Processing Enabling South Africa, the DTIC, to really unlock investment in the country and then to be able to meet that job creation with opportunities for young people. I think the second lever that we really need to think about linked to that is how we can create new jobs in sectors and sectors that are very exciting for us, where we foresee job creation includes digital, it includes tourism, And it includes the care economy, which I think, considering we're in Women's Month, the care economy is an incredible area of opportunity for employment for young women in particular, and older women as well. So I think for women who experience higher labor market barriers, it's a great opportunity both to create jobs and also to find solutions so that things like unpaid care or access to childcare is not the disproportionate responsibilities are not held by them so much. So other areas include the role of public employment programs. We are currently in our phase 5 of the Basic Education Employment Initiative, and that's an incredible opportunity to get young people into opportunities. Yes, they're for a short term, but they provide work readiness, they provide skill upskilling, they provide access to networks, and they are useful and valuable for young people to be able to think ahead to their next opportunity. And then the informal economy is an area of growth. Right now, I mean, I know there's a lot of debate around how the informal economy is measured, but I think what can be agreed is that there needs to be ways to unlock it so that it can expand and grow and provide decent employment for individuals in our economy. And through that all, there is a need to really understand the movement of individuals within the economy and within the labor market. So within Harambee, we have a platform called, we operate a platform called SA Youth, which helps young people look for work. But then broadly, interventions that upskill young people so that they're market ready are also really helpful so that young people can take ownership of their career journey and they're not reliant on kind of what currently exists, but that they can create new opportunities for themselves.
Victoria Duncan, thank you very much for your time, Head of Research at the Harambee Youth Employment Accelerator.